really important that we begin to change the mindset of young people to know that your vote counts.
They don't understand that the legislative arm of government is actually a co-equal arm of government.
We have an incredible amount of potential.
Whatever it is I was doing, because of my personal DNA, it had to be of an international standard, which is what, seriously speaking, is all about.
Welcome to Seriously Speaking. Oftentimes, for those who have passion and pursue their passion, there's a thin line between doing what you love and earning an income out of it. And there's a thin line between helping as many people as you want, you know, because once you go public that I do X, Y, Z, a lot of people are going to besiege you. I have 3 such people who work in NGOs treating issues that are so deep, issues like cancer and depression, mental health. Now, these 3 people are going to be talking about their NGOs and how even you can start your own and seek support, plus the challenges that go on. But at the end of the day, like we've been speaking in the past few weeks, collaborations between government and non-governmental sectors are key to moving our nation forward. I'll be back on Seriously Speaking if you don't go away. Welcome back. My first guest on the show runs a foundation that helps children living with cancer. It's called CLWCF. Her name is Dr. Nneka Nwobbi. I met her maybe 10 years ago. I'm not sure how many years, but I don't see her every year. And she's also a subscriber to Today's Woman. It's nice to have you on Seriously Speaking.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's nice to be on TV with you, right?
Oh, really and truly.
You know, because your work, your life's work. Now, you're a medical doctor, you're a pediatrician by training, but you've run this for 14 years. How did the first one start?
Well, the first year was actually very, very scanty. I met a boy, he was 2 years, 9 months. He had leukemia.
And leukemia is what?
Cancer of the white blood cells. And the father wasn't even agreeable to that diagnosis.
He rejected it in Jesus' name.
He was very upset that I should even begin to talk about that. And subsequently after that, I and the child became very, very tight friends, you know. And he had his 3rd birthday in the ward. And we had a small party for him. So that was actually how it started. I got money from some people, and then we had a small party for him.
Well, did he stay long in the ward?
He had to, because they had to do the investigation to diagnose him, you know, from the time he came in, to the time he was given the first course of chemotherapy. Subsequently, he was discharged and he went home. And he didn't come back until the day before he passed on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he didn't come back because the parents had spent everything they had during that first visit and had other needs.
That were more pressing.
House rent, transportation, feeding, clothing for themselves and their other children. And, of course, they went to the church after that first admission. So, by the second visit, I was called that they were in the emergency room. I went there, saw him, went back to my work. By the time I came back, the next morning, he had passed on. And that was actually what started this charity.
Whole idea of doing this charity. But then I'm sure you didn't set up a proper NGO. You didn't. What has the growth been like?
No, I did set it up. You know, that first child. What I did at that first time was to talk to about a few friends. This is my challenge. I cannot just begin to imagine my own children having such an ailment and nobody to help. Because I actually went online to find out if there are charities that support such in Nigeria.
Everybody was doing breast cancer, cervical cancer. Nobody thought about
breast cancer mostly then. You know, nobody was talking about children. So I said to them that we need to do something for these children, not just for this child, but for other children, because there were quite a lot in the world.
I have one such doctor in the house, though she never met you until now. So Dr. Joe, I call her Dr. Joe. Please walk on set before I take my break. Okay, let me take a break. So I don't, I'll take a break. You keep wondering who Dr. Joe is. We'll be right back. Yes, welcome back. I decided to bring Dr. Joe on set behind the camera so you don't see her catwalk with her nice curves. However, if Dr. Joseph, she's Dr. Adedayo Joseph?
Yes,
thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
But I prefer to call you Dr. Joe. It's more funky.
It's okay.
I don't see you like one doctor that I can't reach. You know what I mean? I met her in the oncology department in Luth.
Yes.
I mean, but then it was for breast cancer. I didn't know she was doing children living with cancer. Now, if your foundation is called Dorcas
Cancer Foundation.
Dorcas Cancer, and your focus is on children.
Yes.
Now, but you had heard about CLWCF.
Yes.
That didn't stop you from starting your own.
No, it didn't.
Why?
Because I hadn't met her. In fact, at the time, I had the impression that she was in Abuja for some reason. Yes.
You see what I mean?
I had the impression she was in Abuja, so I didn't even know that she was operating out of Lagos.
It means the problem is massive.
Yes, and what it was for me was, I kept feeling guilty. I mean, it was on my mind for a very long time.
What's your own field?
Oncology, clinical and radiation oncology.
Means you're the ones that give people chemotherapy and things like that.
Yes, and radiation therapy. And I did meet a few of these kids. In fact, I met Dorcas. Dorcas was a patient that I met. She was 13 when she passed on, but she was 9 or 8 or so when I met her. And I found that I was feeling...
What kind of cancer did she have?
She had osteosarcoma, cancer of the bone.
Is that something you can survive from?
Absolutely. Most children's cancers have fantastic prognosis if they're properly treated and detected on time. And what I find with children, and what bothered me the most, was the fact that the parents had done the right thing. Their daughter was ill, and they had taken her to see a doctor.
Regular.
You know, but then they had treated her for malaria and typhoid and infection and everything else for months at a time before finding what the real diagnosis is. So one of the things we're trying to do, one of our awareness campaigns is called Look Again. We're just trying to launch it now, where we want healthcare professionals to have a high index of suspicion for these things and don't keep treating the same child for 6 months for the same thing. You need to find out what else is wrong. What's
wrong with that? If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor. So maybe if symptoms persist, consult another doctor.
Have a second opinion, a third opinion.
Patients in Nigeria are always afraid to ask their doctors for a referral. I don't know if you've experienced that. They always, in fact, sometimes patients come away with medication.
Some doctors won't even tell you what they are giving you.
Yes, they come away with medication and they don't know the name of the medication they've been given. They're afraid to ask for a second opinion. They're afraid to ask to be referred to a specialist. You know, and so those are the things I want to educate people about. Like, listen, I've come here 3 times now. My child hasn't gotten better. I want to see a professional. I want to see a specialist. You know, I want you to refer me.
But do you need their permission to see a specialist?
Yes, but
because they have to give you a referral letter.
Yes, and then you have to know where to go. You can't go looking for a specialist and end up in the arms of someone who is going to be more dangerous for you. So you actually have to go to the right place. And it's up to the doctor that they are in contact with to refer them to that place.
I must thank you for now to go, because I want to go to postpartum depression. Okay. Let me get my next guest before we engage on the panel about how your challenges can be solved. I'll be right back on Seriously. Thank you first for now. I'll be right back on Seriously Speaking. Yes, I kicked the ladies out so I can introduce someone who's concerned about ladies who go gaga or cuckoo, more like, after they have babies, because the fact that they mentioned that they are cuckoo is one of the problems that we have in our society. Things happen to women when they have babies. Right, Dr. Onyedikachi Ekwerike?
Correct.
Excellent.
Excellent.
So 2 years ago, you started this your NGO.
Yeah.
Why?
So 2 years ago, I started Postpartum Support Network Africa because I had a personal experience of a relative who suffered postpartum psychosis, which is actually a severe mental illness that occurs after childbirth. And at the time, she had nowhere to run to, and no one was actually listening to me because I was a young boy. You know, I was 25.
You're still a young boy.
I guess. I was 25 and everybody thought you had no experience, and what do you know? This is beyond academics. It's one thing to have a degree in psychology or a master's degree in psychology. It's another thing to understand what is happening. This was spiritual. And so they took her from pillar to post, and she was not getting any better. And it got me thinking, how many more women were out there who did not understand what was happening to them, and how many more families needed support? And at the time, so I looked on the internet for help. On how.
Were you working anywhere at that time?
Yes, so I've always worked private practice. But I was thinking that people didn't get access to maternal mental health care. People weren't even aware that there are conditions like postpartum depression or postpartum psychosis. Everybody thought it was a spiritual problem. And I thought to myself, what use would it be to have a degree in psychology and not put it to practical use to help these women if I just sit down and I fold my arms? And so I decided to structure an intervention program that actually not only educates, but screen women while they are pregnant, to be able to know.
What are the signs, please? Let me know.
Also, the symptoms of signs of postpartum depression are similar to any kind of depression, any clinical depression. So you have feelings of sadness, persistent feelings of sadness for 2 weeks or more. You have weepiness, so a woman just stays and she's crying for no reason, and people are asking her, why are you crying now? And she doesn't know.
You should be happy, a baby is coming.
Exactly, and that's some of the misconceptions that we have here in Africa, even generally in the world.
So because I didn't bring you here for nothing, I'm going to engage with my other ladies who are waiting in the wings for us to talk about how NGOs can help development and how others can also support that.
Certainly.
So thank you, Onyedikachi. We'll be right back with my guests shortly. Hopefully, as we return, I'll be able to finish all I want to do. But if I don't, I'm going to scroll all their contact details on screen so that you can get to be part of it. And again, this conversation can continue on Twitter anyway. So I'm going to kick it off by asking these two ladies, did you experience depression like this? Is this true what he's saying? And you're both doctors. Nneka?
Yeah, I did. But with my first child. And I had looked for a baby for 3 years. So you can imagine, I had to tell myself, what the heck is wrong with you? You know, and I just, okay, this is postnatal blues. You have to deal with it.
Because you need a name for it.
Yes.
Did you experience it too?
I definitely had it, but because I knew what it was, because I'm a doctor, and then they had educated me very well in the hospital, I knew what was wrong. But I definitely felt it. I felt cranky towards the baby, towards my husband. I didn't feel connected. I was exhausted.
So it seems almost impossible, unbelievable that you would take a child. I was watching a movie recently, and they talked about how the woman gave her children Benadryl.
Benadryl?
Yes, Benadryl to, at least get them, but she overdosed them.
Oh, no.
So she had to use her own hand to call doctor to come and help her. But they were just too much trouble.
Yeah, so the thing about postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis is it affects the woman.
I don't like the word psychosis.
Oh, well,
more...
No, but blues is not even depression.
Blues is not the same thing as every woman has blues.
Of women who have babies will experience blues.
It's the hormone, the
hormonal
down
changes.
from the stress of the labor and the hormone changes.
So there's a difference between psychosis and blues.
And depression. There's a difference between
depression,
blues, depression, and psychosis. Psychosis is
spectrum.
Out of reality. Like you lose touch reality completely. So you're hallucinating. You're seeing things that other people don't see. So I could say, can you see Madam Adesuwa? Can you see like there's a giraffe on top of your head? And you're saying, no giraffe. And I'm like, but there's a giraffe.
All through us, I've been talking to NGOs. I'm asking what they're thinking and what they think about the fact that NGOs must be regulated. Very quickly. What do you think? Should it be done?
No, I think that...
You said no. You is no.
Not in the way that they're thinking of putting it. There must be some regulation. There must be some rules.
By definition, NGO means non-governmental. So the regulation has to be out of government hands.
Yes, exactly.
You can have NGOs that are well established and have done it and have a record that everybody is comfortable with, do that regulation, but not government.
Yeah.
Not a government that is still struggling to get their own in-house right.
Tell me why it's dangerous for government to regulate it.
Now, firstly, it's not in the place of government to regulate it. So that's doing the wrong thing.
Why is it dangerous to do that?
Now, it's dangerous.
They may want to do it because people have been misappropriating funds.
No, they may want to also do it because people have been keeping them in check. So you have non-profit organizations who are looking out to see what's the government doing wrong and what's the government doing right. And then if the government regulates it, they can actually shut you up.
And then the bottom line is you're just opening a door for corruption. You're opening a door where, as an NGO, I need to bribe someone in an office before I can pay treatment for a child. I need to bribe someone in an office before I can run an awareness campaign. You're opening a door for corruption. That's what in my opinion, that's what it is. You're just going to find more roadblocks. There are already enough roadblocks and challenges without adding me having to bribe someone in an office somewhere to do the work I do.
You were going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say that the government is accountable to the people, and non-profits are accountable to their donors. It is not the government's place to ask what I do with funds that I get from my donors. It's the donors who then put monitoring and evaluation in place. I'm not getting funds from the government.
In my own charity, we are audited every year. So our donors see what we do with the money that we are giving.
An annual report.
True.
Exactly.
So if government wants, because of the massive abuse, because they see NGOs set up, the guy is riding a Jeep sometime or the other, and they want to do something about it, what should they be doing?
They should put things right, first of all, before looking...
So I won't need for NGOs.
Exactly.
I think also in the registration of NGOs, you could do your background checks, you could vet.
And that's done before you
register. Before you can register, it takes... I mean, I know what we went through.
So it sounds very difficult for me. Where do you draw the line? So where do you draw the line? Our final was, where do we draw the line? What's the future is like for NGOs and Nigeria? Let's start with you and I'll end with you.
I think for me, it's just about vision and mission. Whenever we have a tough decision to make, we go back to our vision and our mission, and that helps us decide.
What about you?
I think that it's hard to say. Like, my organization is first of its kind in Africa, so it's a huge thing for us. So I think to be sustainable, like I said earlier, it's imperative that we start to look at more creative ways of generating funds, aside going to the public for funds and getting grants.
You've done 14 years. How have you stuck it through? continuous begging.
I need to get your manual, actually.
No, but I can tell you for free that it's mostly begging. Media, everybody begging. Her husband's money.
She's been begging
just like her.
Yes.
Yeah, this is free, for
I
example.
will start begging you too.
Begging for free airing and things like that, free publicity,
So I
free
don't have
media.
money. But,
And
you
people
know,
will treat you badly. People will treat you like a beggar. They will make sure that you know that you are begging. That's what I found. You will sit for hours and wait
we
for
are
a
willing to
meeting.
take
And I
nonsense.
think that's what has helped, yeah? So for 2 years, we've never gone to the public for funds, okay? Because I'm trying to be very careful. This is a very sensitive matter. It's mental health. It's stigmatized. At the time we would go to the public for funds, we have to be ready and have to show track record. So I think that's what NGOs should be looking out to do. Show track record of success.
We are.
And then if nothing we're saying here, showcase, start, if you have a passion for something, start it.
Yeah.
Even if somebody's been doing it before, do it, there's room. NGOs as necessary. Show a track record and look for the funding. And for those who are funding, it's an opportunity for people to set up foundations and funding. That can fund
firms,
NGOs.
yes.
For now, government should at least meet the stakeholders before they decide anything with that NGO bill. So I must say thank you for coming, Nneka. Thank you, Onyedikachi. And then, of course, Dr. Joe. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
See you again on Seriously Speaking. Remember, this conversation continues on Twitter.